Yo, 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 what is going on, RoK Familia? It is your boy BN, aka Mr. Kingdom Builder, and today we're back again to talk about something that I think is kind of a plaguing challenge, and it's something that not a lot of players really notice that actually happens in their kingdoms. And I want to talk about it because I think it is something that once you hear me say it, and I'm going to show it to you as well, I think there's a high percentage chance it probably is happening in this kingdom. I know I've been hanging out here with an account just doing some videos just because this is just where I am, but I think it plays to the effect of that I can go into arguably almost any kingdom, and 99.99% of the time, this is, especially a younger kingdom, right? This is how it's going to look. And what I want to talk about today is how kingdoms can often snowball from strong players, or the strongest players in those kingdoms, joining top alliances, and how that can affect and factor your kingdom early on and then play out in the long run. And I'm going to point some things out that maybe you have experienced or you've seen in your kingdom that you should just be weary of, right? This is one of the reasons why I'm a big fan of kingdoms really needing to try and focus on balancing out power, because it just helps in so many unseen ways that you just really wouldn't know unless you're in management in a kingdom, meaning that you're privy to conversations that officers and leaders are having, or kind of at that decision-making body situation, right? So, an example of that is, for kingdoms I manage and run projects for, we do management meetings, which include leaders and officers, and we'll do voice meetings. Typically like to have those once a week, and we'll talk about these things, so that way everyone in the active alliances within a group, and then also for other alliances within the kingdom, even if they're outside of the group, can just be aware of that these things are happening, and they can also hopefully learn a little bit along the way. So before we actually get started, as always, if you enjoyed the content, make sure you sub, like, ring the notification bell, and of course, if you want to join and be a part of our conversation, hit up the Discord. You can find a link to that in the pinned comment description down below. So today, we're touching on how strong players will, and players in general, will naturally do this ladder climbing effect, where they'll want to kind of walk their way up the alliance leaderboards to try and eventually make their way to the strongest. And from this point, once you get enough players within your top 10, your top 20 that are joining one alliance or another, it creates what eventually will be a snowball effect in most cases. And once this starts happening, this is how you start getting like these mega alliance structures that will form within kingdoms, where you'll have one and or maybe two alliances that will just pull away. Mainly it's one that'll just pull away in power, and they will be just a cut and above everyone else. And I'm going to explain, and I want to show you what I mean. Right, so let's just take a look. Again, I have a high chance that it's happening here. So, okay. So we have, right, so it most likely is. We'll confirm in a moment. But you have 1.99, so pretty much 2 bill, 1.14 bill, 840 mil, right, for top 3. So 99 GC is the number 1, right? And they're almost double the power, close to that of the rank 2. So let's look at individual power rankings now. 99 GC, 99 GC, 99 GC, 99 GC. Okay. So the top 5 players are in the number 1 alliance. Top 3 players are a cut above in power separation between the next grouping here. Number 6 is a player, the strongest person, that's in the number 2 alliance. So you can already see how it's snowballing here at this point. And I guarantee if you go and look at your kingdom, and this is something I'm going to touch on probably in another video, because I think it is really important to do so, and I'm going to explain why as well in a future video. But I just want to point this out, that even if I scroll down, right, to the next set, 99 GC, 99 GC, 99 GC, 99 GC, right? So you have 10 out of the top 11 players, 5 out of the top 6 that are in the number 1 alliance, right? You have 2 players in the top 12 that are just in the number 2 alliance, and then another alliance that I'm assuming is in the top 10. Or top 5. I didn't actually get a name to look at this tag, but it just shows you how. And again, I'd be shocked if it wasn't happening in your kingdom as well. And that's why it's good to check, because this will show you how important it is to pay attention to these things, on why things like power distribution and doing distribution and other ways to do player distribution is important. Because once you start accumulating this ladder effect, this mega alliance structure effect that takes place in a kingdom, it starts impacting a lot of other areas, right? Maybe the number one alliance all of a sudden wants more than everyone else. Maybe they don't want to share. Maybe they just want to take the best of the best for themselves. Maybe they're the ones that are really affecting how well your kingdom as a whole could be doing. Maybe they're affecting morale. Maybe they're affecting KVK engagement and distribution. And maybe they are the cause of a separation between them and everyone else. And this is one of those things that I really love pointing out, because these types of trends are trends that I love researching. I love taking the time to educate myself in and going out and looking, right? So I can really learn on my own. And when you start noticing these things that happen from kingdom to kingdom, you really start being able to understand why the majority of kingdoms have such a hard uphill battle all the time, especially for new kingdoms, right? Specifically for new kingdoms, will always have an uphill battle when it comes to how long they can last, and really how much of that initial player base they're able to retain over a period of time, and why you often see a lot of kingdoms that just end up not doing so well. And whether that's, people migrating out, losing activity, just not being the best that they can be, right? That's really what we're talking about. And just losing out on that potential that they could be really taking advantage of and really trying to reach. And this is just one small part of what factors into that. And I hope that, if anything, this video helps to highlight that for those of you. And if you're in a kingdom and you notice that this is happening, I would love to hear your story. Let me know, have you noticed this? And if so, how has it impacted your kingdom? Has it been for the better? Has it been for the worse? Or what has happened that has made me point this out, or from me pointing this out, that has then made you say, wow, this actually makes a lot of sense. And yeah, this is happening, and it's happening in this way, or it's affecting us in that way. I would really love to hear. So please let me know in the comments down below. As always, that is it for me. Until next time, I'll catch you later.